Okay. Looks like we're on for the recording, Delith, right? So now I'm going to do just really briefly, just to recap for anybody else that does want to watch it. I, I'm I'm inviting you to open your hearts and open your minds. I'm inviting you to just sink into this present moment with me. And I'm going to invite you to let go of a lot of old stories that you and I have all carried that have perpetuated the illusion that we're not enough. It's perpetuated the illusion that somehow we're not whole or incomplete or that we're separate from God. So I'm just inviting you to go on this kind of meditative journey where we let go of all these old stories. And if your mind says, I don't want to let go of this, I'm inviting you to set that fear to the side and do it anyway and just explore for the short time we're together. So with that said, I feel like I want to just do a prayer to start things off. And Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, we're just so grateful to be here with you as you. Um, we're praying that you lead this meditation, that you lead us back home to the truth that we already are. Guide us and show us the way home. Help us to let go of all those stories, those opinions, those beliefs, those fears, those judgments that stand in the way of recognizing, of fully realizing that beautiful truth that we already are. And we invite in our teachers, our guides, our angels, the saints and sages, all that are in alignment with Father's will for us right now. And we just give this over to you, and we do our best to just get our egos and our personalities out of the way that we may come back home to that beautiful truth that we are, that is beyond all the past and beyond all the future. And we thank you so much for that. Amen. So, just with your eyes closed, just taking in a nice deep breath, and just come back here to this moment. No matter what is going on in the world, in your life, I'm inviting you to just let the world, let life be okay without you for just this short time we're together. Just let it be okay. Let all the chaos of the world just be where it is, just be without you for right now. Let all the troubles in your life just let go of all your worries, all your stress. And again, you can pick this up at any point in time after we're done today. But for right now, just letting it all go. Letting it all go. And letting go of all your worries of the future, which are really just a fear of the unknown. Can you just let everything be as it is without you for right now? And just rest in the peace of this moment. And it's funny, I was listening to a Muji video earlier this morning, and he said, when we talk about resting in peace, normally we're referring to somebody that has died. And many people wait for death so that they can return home to the proverbial heavenly state. But don't wait for that. Peace literally is available right now in this moment and in every present moment. Literally. I'm not making that up. I'm just speaking from my heart. That's all. So, right now, there's nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do other than just be here right now. And I also want to say what pops up for me right now is, Kayla, it's okay if if your doggies need attention, that's okay. But I'm also inviting you to let go that they need attention. Just give it over to God and know that God can take care of all things. And so I'm just inviting you with that. It's not a try to persuade you to do anything. In fact, I want to be clear with you. I'm not interested in convincing anyone of anything. I really am not. I'm not here to persuade you what the truth is. I'm not here to try to convince you or persuade you need to let go of certain things and you need to do this or that. No. This is simply an invitation to let go of those things that stand in the way of who you really are. That's all. So I just want to slow down just a little bit. And I'm going to start by inviting you. I mentioned control. I'm going to invite you to let go of your need, your desire, your attachment to control anything. Again, just for right now, if you want to pick it up later, you can. But just let go of your need or desire to control anything. You get to be out of control. And in fact, to be honest with you, there's nothing you need to control. Spirit often plays songs in my head. They do that regularly throughout the day. And the song that they've been playing lately, I believe, is by Colby Calais. And now it escapes me because maybe it's not up for me right now. But it's about not trying. You don't have to try so hard. I think that's how it goes. And so I'm finding the more I get out of way of life, that I get out of way of God, that life and God are waiting, just simply waiting to take care of me, giving me everything I need, giving me the love, the blessings, the grace, the compassion. But so often, I'm so busy trying to control life and maybe even trying to manipulate life or manipulate others unconsciously because I think my mind thinks that it knows what I need in order to be happy, in order to be at peace, in order to have the things that I need to provide for a living. All these stories, my mind thinks it knows better, and so it tries to control life and others in order to get what it thinks it needs to be happy. And I'm inviting you to let go of all of that for right now. What if you really were whole and complete right now in this moment, but your mind has convinced you that you're not enough, or some other story? So, right now, I'm inviting you to let go of all of the past, all the shame, all the guilt, all the blame of yourself or even others if you're open for it. And remember, sometimes we carry grudges against other people, but ultimately it is only negatively impacting us. So, for right now at least, I ask you to let go of all your grudges of yourself or others, all the shame, all the guilt. Just let it go. And know that one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself, for the world, for your family, for your friends, is just to simply let yourself off the hook. I really mean this. I don't mean this to be cliche at all. I mean, really let yourself off the hook. God doesn't hold you on the hook. God's love is unconditional. It has never stopped loving you. It will never stop loving you. So the only one that needs to forgive you is yourself. In the book by Paul Ferrini, Love Without Conditions, he says, there literally is not one single relationship you cannot sustain when you practice true forgiveness. A Course in Miracles says that forgiveness is the one illusion that it supports because it serves so much good. But in truth, when we return home to the truth of who we are, we see that there's nothing to forgive because everybody was simply having their experience of life and responding to that experience in wherever they were at the time. And that's true for every single person. We've all made what we would describe as horrible mistakes. We've all done that. That's just part of the game of life. But also part of the game of life is when we come to this recognition that we don't have to continue to suffer. We do not have to continue suffering. So letting go of all your past is a way of doing that. And I also want to say that some years back, Spirit came to me very clearly and said, you can't possibly imagine how much good in the world you can do by just simply awakening to the truth of who you are. But you cannot fully awaken to the truth of who you are if you're caught in the past or the worries of the future. So if you're waiting for something else to happen in order to be at peace, in order to be in joy, in order to be in love, in order to recognize your oneness with God, I'm inviting you to let go of any waiting for something else to happen. And I can only ask that you trust me when I say the truth of who you are is here right now in this moment. In fact, all the emptying that we do, there's only one thing that you cannot empty or get rid of, and that is you. You can never get rid of your true self. It has always been you. It will always be you. You cannot avoid you. You can only carry an illusion around that blocks you from recognizing that truth. And Muji once said, you don't need anything to be happy, but you need something to be sad. Let me say that again. You don't need anything to be happy, but you need something to be sad. Because the mind will say, well, when this happens or that happens, and I need more money, I need a better relationship, and I need a better job, when that happens, then I'll be happy. That, my friends, is an illusion. And I'm inviting you to let that go. Just let it go for right now. Just let it go. I'm also inviting you to let go of your need to hold on to anything. In truth, there's nothing you need to hold on to. Those things that we hold on to in life are not here because we're holding on to them. They're here because life and God have wisely seen that it is exactly what we need to awaken to who we are. So right now, I'm inviting you to let go of all your material goods, your car, your home, your money, anything you own. I'm inviting you again, if this brings up stuff from your mind, just remember it's just during this short period of time, and if you want to pick it up afterwards, you can. But for right now, I'm inviting you to let it go or set it to the side, any need, attachments, or desires to hold on to any material goods, and also any need or attachment to hold on to any loved ones. They're not here in your life because you're holding on to them. Holding on to things is only an unnecessary use of energy. And it also blocks you from coming back home to who you are, that one that doesn't need anything, the one who doesn't need to hold on to anything, but is already naturally peace, joy, and love, and even God. And I'm also inviting you, and sometimes this can be a little harder. The mind might fight a little bit more on this, and that's okay if it does. Notice it, let it go. But to let go of life, your need to hold on to life, or your need to hold on to God itself. I don't hold on to God. I surrender to God. I dive deep into God. I give my entire being over to God, but I don't hold on to God because there's nothing to hold on to, because you are already that. But I don't say that to convince you. I'm just saying that as a way of just letting go. And if you're open for it, just giving your entire being, every aspect about who you are, over to God, or whatever that higher source is for you, Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or nature, the sun, whatever that higher force is for you, just giving it all over to that. And just kind of resting in this peace right now. There's nothing you need right now. Maybe your mind says, sometimes when we empty out, the fear comes up like, who will I be if I empty out, if there's nothing left? Who is saying that? Is that the truth of who you are saying that? Or is that your mind coming from a place of fear? Because the mind might also say, if I empty out all my stories, then what is left? How boring is that? Dan Millman wrote a complete book on there are no ordinary moments. And when his teacher, when he was in one of his books, it's a fictional book, but his teacher asked him to go sit on a rock and said, "Don't come back until you have something profound to share." And he came back and he came back and he came back as a person rather than that deeper truth of who he is. And he came back as a person and had all these thoughts and ideas of what was profound, but it was all just beliefs and opinions until he finally surrendered into the moment. He let go of all his resistance. And he came back to his teacher and said, "There are no ordinary moments." And then he wrote a whole book on that. There are no ordinary moments. And so right now, I invite you to let go of your resistance, any resistance of life. And the mind, again, might get busy and say, well, no, I need this to happen. I need this to happen. I need this to happen in order to be happy, in order to be at peace, in order to be in love. I'm inviting you to let that story go. You don't need to carry that. That will not be what brings you home. It will be the thing that keeps you from returning home to who you already are. And now I'm inviting you to let go of the stories, the self images, the personality of who you think you are. To let go of the story that you're a man or a woman. To let go of the story that you are a certain age. To let go of the story that you are mean or even that you are kind. Because ultimately, the truth of who you are is beyond any stories of either good or bad, especially the bad ones, of course. But I carry the story around sometimes because my person says, I'm a bit insecure, and so I sometimes am arrogant in how I communicate because I'm trying to mask my insecurity. These are all stories. And sometimes I am caught in these stories when I'm not being fully present to the truth of who I am. But also, I carry the story that I am a good speaker and that I am a good meditation leader and that I am wise. These are all stories and still block me and are part of the arrogance of myself that I have deemed myself good in the certain areas. But the truth of who you are is empty and innocent and free beyond any stories of good or bad, beyond any opinions, beyond any self righteousness. My teacher once said, his name is Maharishi Sadashiva Asham, and he said, when you move beyond the limitations of the mind, there is nothing you can't accomplish. If you want to touch the far side of the moon, you can touch the far side of the moon. If you want to see the end of the galaxy, you can see the end of the galaxy. And Jesus said, you can do all things I have done and even greater things. What? You can walk on water, you can heal the blind, you can raise the dead. You see, the only reason we don't have those experiences is because there's some kind of belief that we hold on to that says maybe I'm not enough, or I failed God, or there's no way I can do this because I don't know how to do it, or I don't deserve to do it. They're all just stories. All just stories. I'm inviting you right now to enter into the temple of God, the temple of I am, the temple of truth, the temple of your true self. But the only way you can enter that temple and is to let go of all the stories, all the beliefs, everything that you can think of to let go of. Everything that you believe is true in life, even. I'm inviting you to let go of that also. Something else Muji said that this morning that struck me. He said that actually the yogi, the sage, doesn't know anything. Nothing. We read so many books and we try to accumulate knowledge because we think we need to learn more in order to return home to who we are. And in truth, it's not learning more, it's unlearning what we have learned to see ultimately that true knowledge, true intelligence is beyond the body, beyond the mind. How could it be otherwise? Because if you are an eternal truth, you have to go beyond the mind and body that will someday pass away. Because if you are those things, then who are you when they die? There must be some kind of other intelligence, some kind of wisdom that is beyond the physical. If you are to truly experience beyond. And by the way, I'm not trying to convince you that you are eternal. Why do I say that? Because I don't want to convince you of anything. I want to help you to empty out so fully and completely that you can confirm this for yourself. That you are able to see the beautiful truth that you are. So when I say, please empty out everything, I literally mean everything. Jesus once said, to enter the kingdom of heaven, to enter the kingdom of God, you have to be like a child. What was he referring to? Coming back to that pure innocence of who you are. When the child is innocent, it doesn't have all these opinions and beliefs about who should be president or how things should be run in the world or how this person should act or how you should act or how it should act. It doesn't have any of those preconceived notions. There's no conditioning. We gain that as the world piles this upon us and we believe it to be true and we're pulled into the illusion of Maya. This veil of illusion that's pulled over your eyes to keep you from seeing the truth of who you are. Are you ready to lift up the veil? Lift up that curtain of illusion and return home and be liberated from the suffering. Why does suffering occur? It occurs because we listen to our head and it says that this person and me and the world needs to be a certain way, and if it's not, then I'm not going to be happy. Can you just let all of that go? Let it all go. Sometimes I talk a lot in these meditations. It's kind of an emptying out meditation. And sometimes people are like, oh gosh, will he ever shut up? And the truth is, that is still another thought. Because the truth of who you are doesn't need one single thing about life to be any different than what it is. So I'm telling you this because if there's certain things that you're waiting for or certain things with this meditation you want to be different than what it is, know that that is the opinion of your head and not of your heart. Anytime there is resistance in life, that is when you have a negative experience. So right now, I'm inviting you to let go of all your attachments as to how you think you should be, or your loved one should be, or how the world should be. Just for right now. letting go of all your attachments, even letting go of all your desires. And I do want to say some desires are helpful in the aspect that God speaks to us through divine inspiration, and that is a true desire. But right now, for this meditation, I'm inviting you to let go of all your attachments, all your desires, so that you can just return home to a place of innocence. And letting go of any entitlement. Well, I deserve this. I deserve this. Mine is usually a piece of cake. I deserve this piece of cake. I deserve more money. I deserve health care. I mean, we politicize all of this stuff. It's not to say that I don't want everyone to have health care. I actually do. But I'm just inviting you to let go of that right now. Let go of your attachment to have more money or the right relationship or the right job. Can you just allow everything to be as it is? I find that the more I do this and I just give it over to God, and I will even invite you to do this. And this is powerful. This is powerful. To just say to God or your higher source, to say, let thy will be my will. Whatever you want to bring me in my life, I give you permission to do. And that can be very, very scary for people. Sadashiva, my teacher, used to say, the path of the sage is ruthless. There simply are no boundaries. And you see, we grow up where we don't recognize that we need boundaries in our life, that people abuse us or take advantage of us verbally, mentally, physically. And then we realize I need to set some boundaries here. That's not okay how they're speaking to me or how they're treating me, how they're abusing me in some way. And then we come to the point where we come back to our beloved Creator. And we say, Father, I trust you. I have faith in you to help me to return home to who I am. I don't want to fight against life. I don't want to fight against you anymore at all. I am giving my entire being over to you. And whatever is thy will, let that be my will. Whatever you want, experience you want to bring to me, you bring to me. Because I trust that you want what is for my greatest good. I trust that you are here to help me to awaken to who I am. When I first did this, my mind said, well, wait a minute. What if somebody important in my life dies? Or what if God wants me to get in a car accident or lose a limb? What if, what if, what if? I can't tell you how it will play out when you give God permission to do whatever. I can't tell you that. It's scary. It's vulnerable. And it's powerful. And it's liberating. Because A Course in Miracles says you can never attack what is real. You can only attack or diminish that which is not real. I know it goes differently than that, but that's what comes up for me right now. That which is real, that which is unreal doesn't exist, and that which is real does exist. And therein lies the peace of God, something to that effect. But essentially, what it is saying is the truth of who you are can never be attacked or diminished, because you cannot get rid of the truth of who you are. You are that truth, and that truth will always be you, as I said, and has always been you. So Yes, it's true. The limiting self can be attacked or diminished, but when you're resting in the present moment of who you are, it doesn't matter what happens with the person. It only matters if you are not being present and aware and a witness to that experience. And so now we come back to the conscious witness of who you are. And even as a baby, before you could speak, before you went to school and got educated and knowledgeable, before you had a certain so called intelligence level based on the mind, a mentally intelligent level, you could even recognize, as a baby can recognize, that it exists. And if I asked you, how do you know that you're here right now? You would say, well, I'm here. I can tell that I'm here. How can you tell? Is it because you're knowledgeable or you're intelligent? Or is it because you are conscious and aware that you exist right now in this moment? The same conscious and awareness that a baby has. I'm telling you that because so oftentimes, again, we're trying to seek more knowledge to think that that will help return us home to peace, to joy, to love, to God. But it will not be more knowledge that returns you home. I have to say that again. So, as that conscious awareness, you are the one that is aware of the thoughts that come in and out. True? You have a thought like, you could have the thought, I don't like this meditation. Is that you or is that your mind? Or maybe this meditation is going on too long. Who is saying that? Who is aware of that? I actually don't like drawing attention to that because then the mind can sometimes get busy with that. So I apologize for that. But take any thought you want. I want to awaken to who I am. Who is the one that is aware of that thought, of that belief? Yeah, but I know, Brett, that there's got to be something else that happens in order for me to awaken. Who is saying that? Is that your soul, your God essence that's already whole and complete? Because if it is, if you are the thought that says there has to be something more, then who is the one that is a witness to that thought, that belief? You have the thought or the belief that says, I'm not enough. Who is the one that is aware of that? You see, because your thoughts, your feelings, your perceptions, your actions, all of these things, your experiences, all these things are all coming and going. If you are any of those things, that means that you would always be coming and going. Is there not something that is more stable within you? Not even more stable, that is stable, that is consistent, that is always here, that is always you. Because if you are the thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and actions, then you would fade in and out at all times. Is there something that is not fading? Is there something as God is that is absolute, that is consistent, that is always here, always now? This is everything. It's everything to recognize that you are not all those thoughts and beliefs. only way you can awaken to who you are is to recognize that you are not these things. Eckhart Tolle describes awakening as when the awareness, the conscious awareness, separates from the mind. In other words, you have this recognition, this realization that you are not your thoughts, feelings, perceptions, or actions. You are not any of your experiences that come in and out. You are not your five senses that fade in and out. You are not your body and your mind that will someday fade away. You are not your beliefs that will someday change. You are the one consistent, stable force that is a conscious witness to everything else. Lately, I've been having these experiences. I started a new job as a delivery driver. I do other things, and my pride took a hit. My pride took a hit because I like telling people that I'm a meditation teacher and a speaker and all these things that build a false foundation of who I am. But sometimes I'm pulled into the trap and then I become aware of it. I become conscious and aware of that thought and that belief. And I recognize that is not the truth. Because if it was the truth, then who is the one that is a witness to that? And I notice that I don't like telling people that I'm a delivery driver. But then I recognize I am not the delivery driver. I am a witness to the delivery driver. I am a witness to the stories and the beliefs and the opinions about that. I am not a man. I am not a woman. I am not a, a certain age. These are all beliefs that we have identified with as if it's the truth of who we are. Are you ready to go beyond all these stories, self-images that you have accumulated over the years that are creating all the stress and suffering in your life? All of it. That's the only thing that suffering is because we're buying into some kind of belief that says, I need this to be different than what it is. So I'm inviting you to allow it to be as it is. And there might be another part of you that says, no, no, I can't let it be how it is. I can't accept the suffering in the world. Who is saying that? Who is saying that I can't accept the suffering? Is that your head or your heart? Your heart doesn't need anything to change. Your soul is complete. It's full. It's only your head that says, I need it to be different. So I'm saying, if there's something in your life that you say, no, I can't accept this, then can you notice that and be at peace with the one who can't accept it? Because that's still not you. Please see this. If you can't accept climate change in the world, I say, can you just accept everything and recognize it's all about here to awaken us to who we are? And your mind says, no, I can't accept that. Then I'm asking you if you can accept that your mind can accept that. Because you can still be at peace with that, right? No, I need this to be different. There's got to be more. Can I just notice that and just be at peace with that thought without fighting it, without resisting it, without making it bad or wrong? And this is the next piece of the puzzle. This is the next piece. If you are fighting your thoughts and wanting them to be different than what it is, you are empowering the thoughts as if they are real in the first place. You are empowering the beliefs. You are empowering the opinions. And so we get in our head and we say, no, I don't like thinking this way. Who is that I that's saying that? Is that your heart or is that your head saying, I don't like thinking or feeling this way? Because your heart is at peace. It's only your head that says it needs it to be different. Well, I'm not happy with this. Who is the I that's speaking that? Who is the one that says, I don't like this thought. I don't like this feeling. I don't like this experience? Is that your head or your heart? This is so vitally important. Because if you will notice how often people say, I am hungry. Who is hungry? Is your soul hungry? Maybe your body is hungry. That's not you. Are you your body? Are you this body that will someday pass away and you will end along with it? I'm feeling really frustrated. Who is frustrated? Is that your head or your heart? I don't want to be nothing, emptiness. I want to be somebody. Who wants to be somebody? Because I can only speak from the truth of who I am, and I do not need to be anybody. Everything is available in this moment for you. So if you're holding on to anything at all, any beliefs, opinions, I'm inviting you to let all of that go right now. If there's anything left. And if your mind says, I can't let that go, then just notice that. And then I invite you to just set that to the side for right now. Just set it to the side. It's okay. It's okay. You can still be empty with it there. Because you see, we don't have to heal everything, every single issue we have. Please hear this. We do not have to heal every single issue we have. It's like you have a tree and the tree limbs are all of the issues that you have. And you cut off 2 or 3 limbs only to have 2 or 3 more growing back. And as long as you are buying into the mind that the mind is your truth, and that's what you identify with, you will always be locked into suffering because the mind is always telling you there's something more you have to heal. You need to do this or that in order to be happy. But the mind never fully understands what true happiness is. It only has glimpses of a state of happiness. You are not a state of happiness. The truth of who you are, when you move beyond all the stories, you are naturally peace, naturally joy, naturally love. And it's not even a state of that. It's a natural beingness of who you are. But you have temporary moments of happiness, of peace, of love, but they're not real. They're only because we have temporarily satisfied the mind and what the mind believes is needed in order to experience peace, joy, or love, or God. And so I'm inviting you to stop looking to the mind and recognize that right now, the current state of the mind, it is not on your side. It is the very thing that separates you from the beautiful truth that you already are. So I want to come back to say that anytime you are fighting against your feelings or your thoughts. And yes, the feelings too, because if you believe a thought to be true, you will have a feeling about that. It could be a good thought and you have a good feeling, or a so-called bad thought where you have a so-called bad feeling. But none of it is the truth. None of it is the truth. You believe, I'm sorry, I'm just going to stay on climate change. We can all relate to it. So you believe climate change is bad, or your mind does, and you've identified with that. And now, all of a sudden, because you believe that, now it creates a stress and in a negative emotion. What are we going to do? How are we going to get out of it? And again, I'm not saying we can't take action on it, but where is the action going to take place from? From a place of fear and the mind and the judgment? Or letting go of the fear, coming back to accepting this is what life and God have presented. Let me accept this, and then see what divine inspiration flows within you that naturally flows from a place of love, peace, and joy, rather than from the mind and from fear. So, now I want to circle back to the tree. Why cut off all the branches of the tree, cut off issue by issue by issue, if you can simply remove the tree from the root? What does that mean? It means when you recognize that all these issues, all these problems, all these stories, all these opinions, all these beliefs are not the truth, and you are simply a witness to those when you are rooted in the present moment. You are a witness to those, and by being a witness, you don't need those thoughts or opinions to be any different than what they are. I want to say that again. Any judgment, any blame, any guilt, any shame, if you can recognize that's not the truth of who you are the witness to those. You don't need to fix them. You don't need to change them. You don't need to grow and heal. Just simply be a witness to those. You might have a thought come up, and you might have a strong feeling about that thought. Can you just simply be a witness to that without making it bad or wrong? Because if you are conscious and aware of the thought and the feeling, that's great. But if you are then being conscious and aware, but you're wanting it to be different, not wanting those feelings, maybe you have a feeling of hating someone. No, I don't want to hate that person. Now you are still buying into that thought or that feeling. So, this thought that you are believing, and then you are aware of it, that is still your person. It is still the idea of who you think you are if you need that thought or that feeling to be different than what it is. Because the true self is also a witness to that. Let me explain that because it's hard to put into words, so let me do my best. You're driving down the road and a guy cuts out in front of you, and you have the thought, what an idiot that guy is. And you're aware of that thought. But you don't like that thought. You don't like the feeling because now you're caught in this anger and this frustration, and so you want to get out of it. That being aware of that thought, being aware of that feeling that you still want to get out of the situation, that's still your person. It's not your soul or your true essence. It's still the person. Your heart, your true self is also a witness to the person being aware of that thought. So you have the thought and the feeling, you are aware of the thought and the feeling, and then your person wants that thought and feeling to be different, and the witness, the true self, is noticing the thought, the feeling, and the person, but doesn't need any of it to be any different than it is because it recognizes it is not the truth of who you are. That literally is everything that is needed to be awakened to who you are. Now, some of you may be connecting with that more than others. Wherever you're at is absolutely perfect. But if you have thoughts like, I'm just not getting it, who is the I that is saying that? And what happened for me, I'll tell you this. I was in that place listening to Eckhart Tolle and Muji, and they're describing that you already are the truth. You already are peace. You already are joy. You're already whole. You are already God. All those things. And my mind is saying, I'm just not getting that. And then I started noticing, wait, that's my mind chattering that says I'm just not getting it. And then when my mind would say, I'm just not getting it, I would recognize that that's a thought, but I still say, yeah, but there's still got to be something else. And now I'm noticing that thought, that there's got to be something else. And then I would have another thought or another feeling, something's still there. Because I don't feel at peace. Something's still there. Can you notice the something that is still there? And just let it be. You don't need to fix it or change it or heal it. Just simply be aware of it. So we've really gone through a lot of information today, all in a way of helping you to let go of the old story of who you think you are and simply be a witness to that story, to connect with who you are. That's all. Ram Dass calls us the loving conscious awareness. That's all. All those thoughts that said, I'm not getting it. You are the loving conscious awareness of that thought. Yeah, but there's got to be something else. Can you be the loving conscious awareness of that thought? And when I say, can you be that? I don't want you to try to be that. Because trying means that you are not resting in the pure isness and the pure beingness of who you are, because there's no effort with any of this. There's no trying, there's no doing, there's no effort required. It does not take effort to just be aware of your breath, or aware of your little pinky finger, or aware of a thought. There's no effort required. It's simply, oh, I had this thought. Oh, I'm aware of Brett's voice. Oh, I'm aware of the chair or my body, or I'm aware of sounds around me. You are the conscious witness and awareness to that. So right now, I just invite you to come back to being aware of your breath. Just being aware of your breath. And the reason I love to bring people's awareness to their breath is because there's no doing, there's no trying, there's no effort. Your breath happens all by itself. You are simply the witness to the breath. That's all. You're simply the witness to the breath. And as the witness, and as you step into the silence, quite oftentimes the mind gets busy. Could get busy with a whole bunch of things. I'm bored, I'm restless, I don't like this, I don't want to step into the nothingness. Don't fight any of those thoughts. Don't try to push them away. Don't engage them. You don't need to correct them or do self talk. Now, Brett, you shouldn't be thinking that way. That's just another thought. Just simply notice the thought, and as soon as you are aware of the thought, or if it pulls you into the thought stream, you might have a feeling with it, simply notice that. And as soon as you notice it, simply come back to being aware of the breath, which brings you back to the present moment. And it brings you back home to who you are, the conscious witness to the breath, to the thought, to the feeling, to all of it. Just come back to the beautiful silence and emptiness of who you are. And just kind of rest and marinate in this beautiful energy. And if your thoughts get busy, maybe you are having negative thoughts or even a negative experience. Don't fight that. Just let it be. Just let it be how it is. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You could think this is the worst meditation in the world. It's fine. Can you just simply notice that and not try to make the thought or the feeling bad or wrong? This is key. If you are to come to a place of peace in your life, it means stop judging yourself because you are not the judger of your thoughts. You are simply a witness to them. Please hear that. You are not the judger of your thoughts. You are not the judger of other people's experiences or what their actions are. You are not the judger. You are a witness to that. Just be aware of that. And now just come back to being aware of your breath. And if your mind is drifted, just simply coming back to being aware of your breath. And I mean this sincerely. Your mind can be as busy as it wants to be. Your mind can be as judgmental as it wants to be. Your mind can be as hateful as it wants to be. Simply be aware of all of that. And as soon as you are, you don't have to follow it through or analyze it or push up against it or fight it or make it bad or wrong. Simply notice it and come back to being aware of your breath. And again, just coming back to being aware of your breath. So I'm just inviting you to begin to come back to the present moment of where we begin to step out of the meditation, taking a nice deep breath in, making sure you're fully back in your body, you're rooted and grounded in your body. You may want to just wiggle your fingers, your toes, move your body some, stretch it. And just taking your time whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. And Del, you can unmute everybody if you would, please, or do they do that themselves?